Fluffy was your average Squatch. All he wanted to do was relax on the beach and collect rocks. But Fluffy had a secret: the ride. He doesn't know why it's there, and it perplexes him for just a moment. Fluffy goes back to looking for the perfect rock. This is the perfect rock. Fluffy calls him Jerry. Now Fluffy must find new friends for Jerry. Fluffy learns he can craft things. Mr. Fluffy spots a temple and thinks, "If I built this, humans would bow down before me. That wouldn't be so bad, would it?" Haha, Jerry, I'm such a silly Squatch. Fluffy moves on from these thoughts, a little confused on why he was having them in the first place. Fluffy doesn't know why he gets a feeling of euphoria when he dominates the tree, but he kind of likes it, and must now go contemplate this new feeling. While contemplating, Fluffy sees a human and gets distracted. He must investigate. The human is shooting a dead animal over and over in such a cruel fashion. "I will intervene!" Fluffy gets shot trying to intervene and decides against it. As he observes this heinous act of desecration, a feeling washes over him. Fluffy runs over and joins in on tearing meat from the poor creature. Fluffy tries to bond with the human after, but the human just poses and ignores Fluffy. Fluffy, unsure what came over him, heads back to the beach, where his thoughts can be calmed by the waves. He spots a structure and goes to investigate. Fluffy smashes the stupid human litter, messing up his beach. To Fluffy's surprise, he finds human tools hidden inside the litter. He quickly learns that the pit can chip off new rocks for Jerry. Fluffy, getting hungry, goes out and gathers berries. As Fluffy adventures towards the snow, he knows there is danger, and equips the sharp pointy tool humans use so he can protect himself. With the sharp stick equipped, Fluffy begins to feel this overwhelming sensation, and strikes out against a nearby dino. When the dino runs, Fluffy gets excited and begins chasing. Fluffy gets distracted as he finds glasses on the ground and quickly figures out how to wear them. The world becomes so much clearer. With a clearer view, he looks out and spots little birds wandering on the beach. With his previous bloodlust still flowing, Fluffy begins stalking in. Using a torch, he sets the dodos ablaze, which accelerates Fluffy even more, and he goes into a killing frenzy. Fluffy felt like he had gained something from the experience. Fluffy, unsure why he feels such joy for massacring dodos, spots a light in the distance and begins skipping toward it. Parasaur crosses Fluffy's path on his way to the light, and he gets distracted, feeling the urge to kill once again. Fluffy, unsure about this urge, tries to fight it while stalking the Parasaur. Once again, poor Fluffy loses out to the urge and attacks the dino in front of him. The Parasaur escapes Fluffy, leaving Fluffy feeling disappointed and relieved at the same time. Mesmerized by the glowing totem, Fluffy approaches, then begins to think how cool it would look in the temple Fluffy will build one day. Fluffy tries to pick the totem up, but alas, he cannot budge it. After touching the totem, Fluffy feels different. He walks away, trying to sort out this new feeling, but suddenly his body feels lighter. Mr. Fluffy turns around, and to his surprise, his body is standing there. And just as suddenly as it had started, it was over, and Fluffy could move his body again. He soothes himself by collecting more friends for Jerry. With night settling in and becoming darker, Fluffy pulls out his torch, for it provides a feeling of warmth and protection while he explores the land. During his travels, he sees a thing of nightmares. Fluffy quickly turns and flees the area. During his flight, Fluffy spots a human structure in the distance. As Fluffy approaches, he realizes there are angry plants on the building that shoot poison darts. Fluffy has encountered these before and knows to give them a wide berth. Of course, humans would use these foul plants as it matches their cruelty. Fluffy spots a human far from his structure and heads over to check on it. The human just ignores his presence. Fluffy is unsure how he feels about this. Why is this human not cruel to Fluffy? Is Fluffy not worthy of their cruelty? Are they afraid of Fluffy? Can they not see Fluffy? The more Fluffy contemplates why they ignore him, the more angry and sad he becomes. At least there is Jerry. Jerry will always be there for Fluffy. While observing the human closer, the human suddenly leaps into action. It goes into a fury, hitting a nearby dino, showing the human cruelty. How did the spiky, stinky dino get the human's attention? Fluffy, upset, takes Jerry and leaves. Come on, Jerry. We're leaving. Along the way, he runs into a tiny, angry lizard. Not wanting to get his ankles bit, Fluffy takes off. As he runs, he starts feeling worse and worse. Then he spots a fish swimming, and rage washes over Fluffy. He has to kill the fish. After killing the fish, Fluffy feels stronger and goes to fight the angry lizards. The little angry lizard's bites hurt, and Fluffy doesn't like it, so he runs away. The lizards give chase. Thoughts of getting the little lizard to fight the humans begins to creep into Fluffy's head. He lets the thoughts in and focuses on the idea all night. While lost in thought, it happens again. Mr. Fluffy, realizing he is out of the body again, decides to explore like this. He runs into a pack of wolves, who seem to ignore him. A feeling of rage at being ignored comes over him, and he attacks the wolves. The wolves don't seem to notice, driving Mr. Fluffy to even deeper rage. So much so he manifests a metal sharp stick. He then lays into the wolves. Mr. Fluffy will not be ignored. The wolves still don't seem to care, so Mr. Fluffy returns to his body. Fluffy, feeling sad and ignored, is angry and decides to go back to the beach to clear his head. On the way, he sees an angry lizard and goes into a rage, not caring about the painful bites, and just pulverizes the lizard. Fluffy feels a little better, and shares a moonset at the beach, skipping with Jerry. Maybe the humans can't see well at night, so Fluffy goes back to say hi during the day. After all, they do not have stylish glasses like Fluffy. How could they possibly see him at night? The humans still ignore Fluffy, so he wanders off and starts thinking about bringing little angry lizards to bite the humans. He then spots a big angry lizard and wonders how to bring it back to the humans. While thinking about it, the angry lizard wanders into the humans on its own. Fluffy wonders if he should help the humans. Fluffy runs up and tries to help the fallen human, but isn't sure how. Standing over the dead human, Fluffy begins feeling joy creep in. After all, they had completely ignored him, and they are cruel to other living creatures. Suddenly, the angry lizard sees Fluffy, and now Fluffy knows he is not invisible and quickly runs past the next human, knowing the angry lizard will stop to bite it. Fluffy escapes off in the distance, but decides he wants to see the carnage and turns to watch the angry lizard eat the weak human who ignored him. Feeling powerful again, Fluffy takes Jerry down to a nearby river and skips along in his joy, carefree.